Hi and welcome to this demonstration of the Qrtech FlexRay Configurator. Today we will show you how to set up a FlexRay node to receive a frame from a FlexRay network. The Qrtech FlexRay Configurator runs as a plugin in Eclipse. Install instructions can be found on www.odeep.se. Click the link Downloads and the installation file will be visible on the web page. To start the Qrtech FlexRay Configurator in a specific project, press File, New, and Other. We will start the configurator with an empty configuration. This is the main view of the configurator. In the view to the left, you see a tree structure, which will contain all structures needed for a FlexRay cluster. The global parameters, which are the same for all participating FlexRay nodes in a FlexRay cluster, can be configured under cycle parameters and clock parameters. These are quite comprehensive, but to simplify and get a working FlexRay configuration, just click the default button. Now it's time to configure each node separately. We will click the button Add Node 2 times to add 2 FlexRay nodes to the configuration. We will name them Node 1 and Node 2. Click on the first node in the tree structure. This is where you define the node settings. For example, if the node should act as a startup node, and if it should be used as a synchronization node, etc. Let's click on the arrow at the left of the frames icon for the first node. This will show the underlying AutoSAR structure LPDUs. Continue to open up the underlying structures and the whole tree structures will be visible. We will start by adding a buffer. Click Buffers. This buffer with ID 0 will be a receive buffer. It's allowed to receive on both FlexRay channels. And it will receive in time slot 10 in the FlexRay communication cycle. We will add an LPDU by clicking LPDUs in the tree structures to the left and click the Add button. The same for frame triggering. Choose reference to the buffer we just configured for the reception in time slot 10. Now, add a frame structure and a PDUs in frame. When adding a PDUs in frame structure, you will be asked if it should point to a transmit PDU or a receive PDU. We will choose a receive PDU in this example. Of course, we have to add a receive PDU as well. Click Receive PDU and click Add. You can choose the module for which the callback functions the FlexRay interface should point to. In this example, we choose the default module PDU router. As you can see, the ID of the received PDU is 0. Go back to Structures in the tree structure to the left. Mark the frame structure and choose the reference to the received PDU. Go to Triggerings and choose Reference to Frame Structure 0. The same for LPDU with a reference to frame triggering with ID 0. Now, if you click on the frames icon in the tree structure to the left, you will see the connection between the different structures all the way from an LPDU to a PDU and buffers. If we click Nodes in the tree structure, the view will show us a brief summary of how the different nodes in the FlexRay cluster are configured. Obviously, Node 2 will not be configured since we have only configured Node 1 in this demonstration. In order to schedule the reception of a PDU in time slot 10 for the first node, click Jobs in the tree structure. Add a job and then an operation. For the operation, we will define it as a receive operation with a reference to the LPDU we have configured. Above the operations table, a recommended macro tick for the job is presented. We will type in the recommended macro tick for the job and say that it should be scheduled to start in communication cycle 1. Finally, it's time to generate the configuration files for FlexRay. Click Generate Code in the tree structure, and here we can generate the code for FlexRay driver and FlexRay interface. The files will be generated in the current project folder. It's as easy as that. There are many parameters that must be defined for a FlexRay cluster. Qrtech FlexRay Configurator will make it easier to configure your FlexRay system. The demo version of the Qrtech FlexRay Configurator can be downloaded from www.odeep.se together with a user manual. See the homepage for further instructions. Try it out.